Sup, dude? Back in the 80s, the Celtics were stacked with talent. They had the greatest honky in NBA history, one of the greatest power forwards in NBA history, an all-star center, and a bunch of other really solid players. Because of their plethora of talent, nowadays one guy seems to never get talked about. That guy is Dennis Johnson, a former Finals MVP, multi-time all-star, and Larry Bird's favorite teammate ever. He didn't become a Celtic until 1983 when he was 29, but prior to that, he had already cemented himself as one of the best two-way guards ever. Born in 1954, Dennis grew up in the lovely city of Compton, alongside enough siblings to play 5-on-5 with a couple backups and a ref. His father's pullout game was atrocious, and as a result, Dennis had a staggering 15 siblings. He was the 8th one to pop out the cooch, and as the years went by, he gave nobody any reason to believe he'd become a professional basketball player. Standing at 5'9", Dennis didn't have the size nor the skill to play any level of basketball. In high school, he started at left bench, playing just a minute or two a game, so when he graduated, he started working odd jobs like driving a forklift. He may have sucked at basketball, but he didn't quit. Instead, he honed his skills by frequently playing pickup with his brothers. Then all of a sudden, he started to grow, shooting all the way up to 6'3". His extra inches and impressive defensive skills caught the eye of a guy named Jim White, who saw him playing pickup. Jim was the head coach at Los Angeles Harbor College, and he told Dennis he should enroll and play for their basketball team. Dennis did just that, and unlike his high school career, he became Mr. Big Nuts. Dude averaged 18 points and a whopping 12 rebounds, but unfortunately he and Jim did not get along well, which led to Dennis getting thrown off the team 3 times within the span of 2 years. They ended up mending their relationship, but DJ had a couple D1 offers and decided to transfer to Pepperdine. Despite the fact that he had to now play much tougher competition, his scoring stayed about the same while shooting 48% from the field, but his rebounding significantly went down, averaging just 6 boards a night, which was half of what he averaged playing JUCO. While it was a big drop, he was playing better players, so he was still amazing. His amazingness brought Pepperdine to the tournament where they got bounced in the Sweet 16. But after that, he decided to try his luck by declaring for the NBA draft. When you think about it, that was really wild. Just a few years before, he was a 5'9" forklift driver, and now he was about to embark on a journey to the NBA Hall of Fame. Just goes to show you how quickly life can flip the script. Though even with this talent, he was like gas station sushi to these scouts. Intriguing, but came with a high possibility of very bad things. Teams were skeptical about his attitude and lack of polish. When the 1976 draft rolled around, he wasn't some highly touted lottery pick. Instead, the Supersonics took him in the second round with the 29th pick. They knew his cons, but he was a tenacious defender with loads of potential, and they were willing to bet that he could maximize it. Speaking of maximizing opportunities, here's how you can maximize the safety of your personal information. We've all heard the talk about TikTok and the government's push to stop China from getting access to US citizens' information. But here's the thing, data brokers who buy and sell our personal details are doing the same thing, and it's totally legal. But that's where today's sponsor Aura steps in. Aura has identity theft protection that monitors your social security number, credit file, and even the dark web to ensure your information isn't in the wrong hands. Plus, they offer data broker opt-out to remove your details from those shady sites selling your data to criminals. If you're like me and getting bombarded with spam calls, Aura's spam protection can help clean up that mess too. And if someone tries to open credit cards or loans in your name, you'll get an alert within minutes with Aura's financial fraud protection. So don't leave your data unprotected. Click the link in the description or go to aura.com/NBAGoober to start a 14-day free trial to see if your personal information's out there. Big thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video. Anywho, Dennis pulled up to Seattle making $45K a year, which in today's money is around $250K. Not bad for a dude who used to make less than $3 an hour inhaling forklift fumes and trying not to kill anyone with said forklift. One minute he's clocking in at a warehouse, the next dude's getting paid to play basketball. I mean, that's a hell of a glow up. But here's the kicker, Dennis wasn't just satisfied with the money, he wanted to be great. He was hungry and had a lot to prove, and by his second season his hard work started to pay off. Dude was getting 27 minutes a game, showing flashes of the two-way beast he was about to become. His defense was impenetrable. He was like the heavier set friend who gets in the way of you trying to talk to the hot one. He was putting up some solid numbers, averaging 12.7 points and 2.8 assists, and by the end of the year, the Sonics were like, alright, this guy's pretty good, and awarded him by increasing his minutes per game to damn near 30 38 looking like Josh Hart out there. The 1978 playoffs were where he really started to make a name for himself. Seattle went through a gauntlet playing the Lakers, Blazers, and the Nuggets before facing off against the Bullets in the finals. And what did DJ do in Game 3 of the finals? He said,
"I'm about to make a name for myself here."
Bro finished with 7 blocks, dude. 7 blocks in a finals game for a guard. I'm pretty sure that's a record. Like, you barely see little dudes doing that in the regular season, let alone the finals. But while that was all fine and dandy, here's where things took a turn. The Sonics lost the series in 7 games, and in Game 7, Dennis had the stinkiest of stinkers. Dude missed every shot he took, 14 field goal attempts and nothing went in. Bro was Stevie Wonder with the shot, boy. He came out after the game, head hung low, straight up said, "I choked." But instead of folding under the pressure, Dennis turned that anger into fuel. Fast forward to 1979, Seattle was back playing in the finals with a vengeance. They took on the Bullets again, and this time Dennis wasn't playing games. After losing the first one, they came back to win the next 4 straight, and DJ was cooking, averaging 23 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, and by the end, he was named Finals MVP. Dude went from being a forklift driver to an NBA champ and Finals MVP in just a few years. He was officially a motherfucking pimp. That's what happens when you don't quit, when you get better every damn day. But despite all that, Dennis still had a chip on his shoulder because after all that success, the Sonics head coach Lenny Wilkens started to get fed up with him. It wasn't just about the numbers, it was about the attitude, the conflicts with management, and Dennis not always playing within the system. So by 1980, Seattle traded him to the Suns. At this point, DJ was considered by many to be the best perimeter defender in the league, and when he got to Phoenix, he became their primary scorer. Get you a man who can do both. The Suns reached the Western Conference semifinals in his first 2 years, but pooped the bed in his final season, getting knocked out in the first round. Yet again, tensions with his coach led to the dude getting traded, this time to Boston in 1983, but this ended up being a blessing. This was the start of a whole new chapter in his career, one where he was surrounded by greatness and became a key piece to a legendary team. When he arrived, the Celtics were stacked with the likes of Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, but they were in need of a tough two-way guard who can contribute both offensively and defensively. Enter Dennis Johnson. He was exactly what the Celtics needed to put them over the top. While Bird, McHale, and Parrish were the stars of the show, DJ became the unsung hero, often drawing the toughest assignments on defense and helping run the offense smoothly when needed. It didn't take long for Dennis to make an impact in Boston. In his first season with the Celtics, he helped guide them to the 1984 NBA Finals, where they faced off against their bitter rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers. The series was a brutal physical battle, but Dennis stood tall under the pressure. In Game 4, he was huge in a must-win game, dropping 22 points, 14 assists, and locking in defensively. With the Celtics fighting for their lives in overtime, DJ came up clutch, passing it to Larry Bird, who then hit the game winner. That tied the series at 2 apiece, shifting momentum back to Boston. Then in Game 5, with the Boston Garden hotter than Satan's asshole, DJ kept bringing the intensity on both ends as the Celtics took control of the series. When it was all said and done, Boston won in 7 games, and DJ's defense on Magic was a major reason why. After that, he was known as the backbone of the Celtics defense. He made 4 all-defensive teams in Boston, and his tenacity, leadership, and ability to show up in big moments made him one of the most respected players in the league. Then in 1986, he was a key piece in one of the greatest teams ever, helping Boston win another title. Though DJ often flew under the radar compared to some of the Celtics' more flamboyant stars, his importance to those 1980s Celtics teams cannot be overstated. His leadership on and off the floor, coupled with his defensive prowess, made him an irreplaceable part of the Celtics' championship success. Dennis may not be as celebrated as some of his Celtics teammates, but his legacy as one of the best defensive guards of his era remains intact. And as far as Larry Bird is concerned, DJ was the best teammate he ever had alongside him. That says everything you need to know about Dennis Johnson's impact on those Celtics teams and his place in NBA history. While Dennis isn't talked about much, this other guard you might know named Steve Kerr is talked about quite a bit. Not necessarily for what he did on the court, more so as a coach, but you can click here to watch the video I made on him about his career. As always, big thank you to the Goobers, Nolan Fincher, Sheesh, Aaron Stark, Made ZO2, Quinn Murphy, Bray Thompson, HTL, and Tippy Lou. Really appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye, dude.